whatever Christianity was before, 300, in the Nicene Council, before Constantine, there's no telling what it was. So when people, that's why I say, that's the point I'm trying to make. Right there. We don't even know what was added, taken away, what was even part of the oral tradition that was taught before.
Well, I think we do. And I think we can understand that if we understand the Old Testament Tanakh word, the Hebrew word of Ger. If we understand who this Ger was, then we can start to understand who the God-fearer we see in the New Testament is. And so the Ger Toshav of the non-Jewish resident in Israel, who was a God-fearer, because the Jewish people wasn't the God-fearers, because they were Jewish. The non-Jewish people were the ones who were the God-fearers in the New Testament. They were the Ger Toshavs. They were this stranger, this non-Jewish person who attached himself to the Jewish belief. But they didn't attach themselves as a convert would, as in converting to Judaism. They attached themselves as a person, as a non-Jewish person that was attached to it. They believed in the same God, but they didn't do the same things necessarily because they weren't commanded to do so. So we can see this idea before the Nicene Council in the land of Israel as these God-fearers that were studying Moses in the synagogue. Because where did Paul go? He went to the high priest to ask permission to where he could go and persecute these Christian believers and find out these whether those who believed in the way is what they called they believed in the way, the path that they were following. And he wanted to go in, so he asked to go in to the synagogues to where to root out these people to where he could persecute them. Okay? And so that's telling us that these God-fearers, these Ger Toshavs, were in the synagogues learning what? Moses, as it says in the book of Acts, he says in Moses, go and learn Moses. He's taught every Sabbath. Moses is taught. Go sit in the synagogue and learn from Moses. If you want to. And so we see this whole idea that these people that weren't following Judaism, but were believing in the God of Israel, were doing so in the context of a Ger Toshav, and that is kind of what we can expect to see before the development of the church. And before all these, before the deification, before the Council of Nicaea, where the deification of Jesus came in and the idolatry came in and all these different things come in, all they were doing was following the teachings of a Jewish rabbi, of a particular Jewish sect. Not to say that, it was just a particular Jewish sect and the way they thought. Just like you had the school of Shammai and Hillel. You had different schools of thought. And that's all they were following. It was just a sect of Judaism. And you could follow that teaching, obviously, and not necessarily be Jewish.